With the DH being implemented in the National League for this coming season, how will it affect lineups and which cards should we be investing in as a result? What is up, everyone? This is Kevin, and I am back with another sports card investing video. Today, I will be giving you guys my top 5 cards to invest in as a result of the implementation of the Universal DH in the National League. I will be looking at National League teams and their lineups and seeing who is going to be DHing for each of those teams as a result. I think there are multiple players who are going to benefit from a sports card investing aspect due to the added DH position. Players will be getting more at bats than normal, with people, instead of platooning, now sliding over to DH and getting full-time at bats. I think there is definitely a huge opportunity to take advantage of here in terms of sports card investing. So with that being said, let's hop right into the video. So starting at the top 5, with my honorable mention, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks DH situation. Right here, I've got Kevin Cron and Jake Lamb slotting into the DH spot. Kevin Cron coming into the year was going to be Christian Walker's backup. However, with the DH being implemented, Kevin Cron is going to share time with Jake Lamb at DH. Kevin Cron is a 6'5" first baseman, strong power hitter, led all of minor league baseball last year in home runs. Listen to these stats, guys. Last year in AAA, he hit .331 with 38 homers and 105 RBIs in only 82 games. Again, that's 38 home runs in 82 games. So Kevin Cron obviously has massive power potential. He's got the size to do it, 6'5" righty. So I think Kevin Cron, especially playing in Chase Field in the NL West, is going to hit a ton of home runs for the D-backs this year with the additional playing time. Again, heading into the year, he was slated to be Christian Walker's backup and probably wouldn't have gotten that many at-bats. However, now with the DH, I think he's going to get a ton more at-bats, is going to hit some monster home runs for the D-backs. Sharing the position at DH, platooning, is going to be Jake Lamb. Jake Lamb is a former All-Star. However, since then, he really hasn't regained that form, has been hurt here and there. But now being able to DH and focus on hitting is really going to benefit him. He really doesn't hit well against lefties. In fact, his splits are kind of disgusting to look at. In 2017, which was the year he was an All-Star, he hit only 144 against lefties, and he hit around 282 against righties. Again, Lamb just can't hit off of a lefty to save his life. But I think platooning with Kevin Cron at DH is going to allow him to face exclusively right-handers, and is really going to benefit Jake Lamb as well. And I think he can regain some of that power that he had in 2017. However, if I were to choose between the two, I would choose to invest in Kevin Cron. You can get his Topps 2019 rookie card for like $1 a piece. Maybe you can get a lot of cards for under $1 a piece. I would put some money into Kevin Cron and hope that he hits a ton of home runs for the D-backs this year and potentially flip them each for $5 down the road. It's not a bad return if you ask me. So I have Kevin Cron as an interesting player that I am looking at and potentially investing in for the 2020 season. So sliding in at number 5 in terms of designated hitter investments in the National League is the San Diego Padres situation. So the Padres have always seemed to have more major league decent hitters than positions. So this year with the DH, it's allowed them to put some guys at DH. Right now I have Franchy Cordero and Ty France sharing the DH position. However, literally as I am starting to record this video, I see that my phone has lit up and it says that the Royals have acquired Franchy Cordero, Ronald Bolaños, for relief pitcher Tim Hill. So it looks like Franchy Cordero is no longer a San Diego Padre and is headed to the Kansas City Royals, leaving Ty France all by himself at the DH spot. So I guess the Padres are ready to hand over the DH position to Ty France full time. And I think I'm going to bump Ty France from an interesting rating to a buy rating and potentially a strong buy. Ty France is someone that I've been quietly investing in on the side. He put up some monster numbers in AAA this year. He hit .399 with 27 homers and 89 RBIs last year in only 76 games. 27 homers in 76 games while hitting .399. Those numbers are video game-like and are insane. Now, I don't expect Ty France to do that exact same thing in the major leagues, but it does show that the dude can flat out hit. And if he can come even close to that in the major leagues, his cards are going to skyrocket, guys. I've been buying his raw cards for like $1 each. I think you can get his like gold parallel for maybe like $5-6. He's been really overlooked here, and I think he's got so much power potential and such a good all-around hitter. And now with Cordero out of the picture, I might go out and buy even more Ty France. So I have him as a buy. Again, his cards aren't going to cost you that much. At most, it's like $1 each. You could probably get a lot of like 10 for like $7. Get each for like under $1. It's not going to cost you a ton, but I think the upside is there for Ty France. Get him for $1 a piece right now. Again, later in the season when he performs, you can sell him for $5 to $10 each. And if he really continues to hit, get those cards graded and sell them. I think Ty France is a big time investment now that Franchy Cordero is out of the picture with the Padres. Checking in at number 4, we've got the Colorado Rockies. So coming into the season, Daniel Murphy was slated to start first base, with Ryan McMahon and Brendan Rodgers sharing time at second base. However, with the universal DH in effect, the Rockies can kind of play musical chairs here, sliding Daniel Murphy over to DH, Ryan McMahon to first base, and Brendan Rodgers to second base. So let's start off with Brendan Rodgers. He's a former top prospect who has put up some pretty good numbers in the minor leagues as well, and he's got a ton of potential. He couldn't stay healthy last year, and so didn't do so well in the major leagues. However, with a healthy season this year, I think he can break out. Same with Ryan McMahon. Ryan McMahon has been known as a power hitter. However, he really hasn't realized that power potential in the major leagues. But I think getting full-time at-bats and not having to worry about platooning with another player is really going to help out Ryan McMahon mentally. Same with Brendan Rodgers. And I think both of them are due to break out this year and have pretty good years. So I think Garrett Hampson could figure into the second base position alongside Brendan Rodgers. However, I think Rodgers is so much more talented than Hampson to where Rodgers is just going to take over that starting second base position. So again, I would invest in Brendan Rodgers and Ryan McMahon. You can get both of their rookie cards for like $1 to $2 a piece. Really nothing expensive here. Just throw a couple bucks here and there. And I think these guys are going to get a lot more at-bats with the DH in effect and Daniel Murphy not having to play the field. So again, Ryan McMahon and Brendan Rodgers are guys I am investing in right now. Checking in at number 3, and this is someone who I really haven't been buying, but I think could have a pretty good year, is Jock Peterson. So coming into the year, Jock Peterson and AJ Pollock were slated to platoon in left field. However, with the DH in effect, that'll allow Jock Peterson to play DH full-time and AJ Pollock able to start in left field full-time. Jock Peterson is an insane power hitter. He's really got power and not a ton else, but it's fun to watch. Definitely a big-time masher, and I think him moving to DH, not having to play outfield, is going to save the wear and tear on his body and allow him to focus only on hitting. He won't have to worry about practicing defense or staying in the outfield for 9 innings. So I think that's really going to help out Jock Peterson here this season, and I think has a chance to finish in the top 15 in home runs this season in the major leagues. So Jock Peterson, while I personally haven't been buying, and I don't think he's a huge investment player right now, he doesn't really get guys excited, I think he could finish top 15, who knows, maybe even top 10 in home runs. And if he does, that'll get people interested in buying him and excited about Jock Peterson. So I think he stands to really benefit from this DH situation, and it's something interesting to look at. Sliding in at number 2 for DH investments is going to be the Cincinnati Reds situation, and this is going to be shared between Aristides Aquino and Nick Senzel. So the Reds kind of have always had more outfielders than outfield spots. So this offseason, they signed Nick Castellanos and then went right back out and got Japanese outfielder Shogo Akiyama, and all while having Jesse Winker, Aristides Aquino, and Nick Senzel also in the outfield mix. So that was essentially 5 outfielders for 3 positions. However, with a new DH, I think it allows Nick Castellanos to slide over to DH as he is not a great fielder. allowing Nick Senzel to slot in at left field, or have Aristides Aquino slot in at right field. And I think this is really beneficial to them. Aquino, I know, is starting in minor league camp and won't be on the opening day roster. However, I think he has so much potential that they're going to call him up later this season. Again, he started off extremely hot to start his career and then cooled off big time. However, I do think that the potential is there and that he could get called up this year and hit some home runs for the Reds. As for Nick Senzel, his issue has been staying healthy. The dude has had nagging injuries all throughout the minor leagues and even now in the major leagues. So if he can stay healthy, he could have a big year. And I think the DH helps with him too, because the Reds can kind of slot Senzel at DH once in a while and limit that wear and tear on his body and prevent some of those injuries that have plagued him throughout his career. So I think Nick Senzel and Aristides Aquino are two guys to keep an eye out for, and I have them as a buy rating. You can get each rookie card for about $1, $2 a piece raw. Aristides Aquino is in Topps 2020 Series 1, while Nick Senzel is in Topps 2019 Update. And both cards have massive upside, and I think are solid cards to invest in right now. The number one DH investment for me this year in the National League is Austin Riley. So coming into the season, Austin Riley was set to share time at third base with Johan Camargo. However, with a new DH role, Austin Riley simply slides over to the DH spot and is going to get full-time at-bats at that position rather than having to share at-bats with Johan Camargo. So I have him as a strong buy. Austin Riley last year when he came up to the major leagues, got off to a fast start, hit a bunch of home runs. However, he did have suffered a knee injury and then wasn't the same when he came back and really slumped big time. However, I think now that he is healthy, getting full-time at-bats in a stacked Braves lineup is really going to help him out. He is definitely someone to watch out for this season. Again, coming into the year, he wasn't going to get a ton of playing time. He's maybe going to get half of the at-bats he would for this season. So I think now that he gets all the at-bats he can at DH is really going to help him. The Braves did sign Yasiel Puig, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. I could see him getting some DH at-bats, maybe playing right field, having Acuna slot over to left, and then Ozuna over to DH. In that case, I think Riley could get some playing time at third base as well and give Camargo a couple of days off. But overall, I think most of his playing time is going to come at DH, and it's someone that I would be investing in right now. You can get his raw cards right now, Topps 2019 Update, for like $1 or $2 a piece. And you can get his graded PSA 10 cards for $25 to $35 a piece. And I think there's a ton of room to grow for these cards. He's a big home run hitter, and he's playing for a big market and a team that certainly could go deep in the playoffs. So Austin Riley is definitely someone that will benefit from the new DH. So kind of to recap the top 5 DH beneficiaries in the National League, I've got Ty France of the San Diego Padres. I think he's going to have a big year and a big career for them if he can translate anywhere close to those minor league numbers to the majors. Brian McMahon and Brendan Rodgers for the Rockies checking in at number 4. Both of them now getting full-time playing time instead of having to platoon alongside each other. It's really going to help both of them out mentally, and I think they're due for breakout years. Number 3, I've got Jock Peterson of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Again, having to focus only on hitting and not having to play outfield is really going to help out Jock Peterson. I watched him in the inter-squad games. He looks great shape. He's even been stealing some bases, and I think he's going to have a good year, potentially finish top 15 in home runs. Number 2, I've got Nick Senzel and Aristides Aquino of the Cincinnati Reds. I think they're going to get a lot more at-bats now with the DH in effect, as they can rotate their outfielders to different spots. So they can definitely stand to benefit. And then number 1, I've got Austin Riley of the Atlanta Braves, hitting in that stacked lineup, getting a bunch of at-bats, hitting a bunch of home runs for the Braves, who could potentially go deep into the playoffs this year. So I've got Austin Riley as my number 1 beneficiary of the universal DH in terms of card investments. So if you're curious about the other National League teams and what their DH situation is like, I've got the Chicago Cubs right here. I think Kyle Schwarber is going to slot over to DH, much like Jock Peterson is going to be able to focus only on hitting, won't have to be standing in the outfield for 9 innings. is going to really limit the wear and tear on his body, and I think he can have another good year. He hit 38 home runs last year, and I think he can put up the same types of power numbers in the shortened season. Ian Happ will slot into left field. However, I'm not as excited about Ian Happ, and I would kind of avoid him as a whole. But there is some potential to be had, and if you are a fan of him, go ahead and go get his cards as well. Next up, we got the Miami Marlins. Not much to look at here, as the Marlins are a great team. Matt Joyce and Garrett Cooper are slotted to be their DH. Again, not much to talk about here. Milwaukee Brewers, Ryan Braun. Ryan Braun coming into the year was slated to be the Brewers' fourth outfielder and potentially get some playing time at first base. However, I think the universal DH actually helps out Christian Yelich more, as I think the Brewers are going to slot Yelich in at DH maybe once or twice a week, just to keep him fresh, and not having him play defense every single game is really going to help out Yelich and his longevity. So I think more than anything, it helps Christian Yelich more than Ryan Braun. So I really wouldn't be buying Ryan Braun's cards right now, especially because he's on the older side. As for the New York Mets, I've got Dominic Smith at DH. I think Yoenis Cespedes could factor into this situation. However, I don't have a ton of confidence that Cespedes can either stay healthy or reach back to his prime power potential. So I would avoid this. Phillies, again, DH Jay Bruce. He's on the older side. I really wouldn't invest in him right now. Pittsburgh Pirates, wouldn't really invest here either. Josh Bell, I think, is going to move over to DH, allowing Jose Ozuna to play first base. Again, would not invest here. San Francisco Giants, I've got Hunter Pence slotting over from left field to DH, much like he did with the Texas Rangers last year. However, he is on the older side and not a great investment at the moment. Same with Alex Dickerson, not much to look at there. St. Louis Cardinals are interesting. I think Matt Carpenter to start the year could slot over to DH, allowing Tommy Edman to play third base. However, Edman isn't a huge power hitter and is therefore not a great investment guy. What is more interesting that could happen with the Cardinals, I could see Matt Carpenter staying at third and them DHing any of their outfielders like Tyler O'Neill, and then calling up their top prospect Dylan Carlson once 7 days has passed and they've gained that extra year of control over Dylan Carlson. So I think Dylan Carlson could be someone to look at. He hasn't debuted in the majors yet, so he doesn't have a Topps rookie card. So I'd be looking at his first Bowman cards of Dylan Carlson, and when he gets called up, he will get a card in Topps 2020 update. So I'd be on the lookout for those when that product does come out later in the year. Next up, we've got the Washington Nationals. Again, not much here. Asdrubal Cabrera, kind of an older player, not much of an investment interest. I do think Carter Kieboom is going to have a good year for them this year. But as for the DH, Asdrubal Cabrera, not really a big investment here. So again, guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more sports card investing videos like this.